The morning sun was shining through the big windows of the hotel room, making everything look perfect. But Maya felt anything but perfect as she sat in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection. Her wedding dress was beautiful, white as snow with tiny pearls sewn all over it. Her hair was done up in a fancy style, and her makeup looked flawless. Everyone kept telling her she looked like a princess, but Maya couldn't stop her hands from shaking. "You look amazing," said her best friend Lisa, who was busy fixing the other bridesmaids' dresses. "David is going to be so happy when he sees you." Maya forced a smile, but inside her heart was beating so fast, she thought it might jump out of her chest. She had been dreaming about her wedding day since she was a little girl, playing dress-up in her mother's old clothes. She used to imagine walking down the aisle to marry her Prince Charming, surrounded by flowers and love. This wasn't how she had imagined it would feel. 3 months ago, Maya thought David was perfect. He was handsome, successful, and everyone in their small town loved him. Her parents were so proud when he asked for her hand in marriage. "You're so lucky," her mother had said. "David will take good care of you." But as the wedding day got closer, Maya started to see a different side of David. At first, it was small things. He didn't like it when she went out with her friends. He said he just wanted to spend time with her, and that seemed sweet. Then he started checking her phone, saying he was just curious about her day. When she asked him to stop, he would get upset and say, "Don't you trust me? I'm going to be your husband." Last week, things got worse. David told Maya she needed to delete the numbers of her male friends from her phone. When she said no, he got angry and said she was being disrespectful. He raised his voice so loud that the neighbors probably heard him. Maya had never seen him like that before, and it scared her. The worst part happened 2 days ago. David came to her apartment and saw her talking to her older brother on the phone. Her brother Jake lived in another city and was calling to say he might be late to the wedding because of work. David grabbed the phone from Maya's hands and hung up on Jake. Then he said something that made Maya feel cold inside. Afterward, "Married, I don't want you talking to your family so much. A wife should focus on her husband, not on other people." Maya tried to explain that Jake was her brother, but David wouldn't listen. He said her family was trying to come between them, and that after the wedding, things would be different. Maya asked him what he meant, but he just kissed her forehead and said, "Don't worry about it, I'll take care of everything." That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about her grandmother who had lived with them when Maya was young. Grandma Rose used to tell stories about her own life, and Maya remembered one story that now made her feel sick to her stomach. Grandma Rose had married a man who seemed nice at first, but after the wedding, he became controlling and mean. He wouldn't let her see her friends or family, and he made all the decisions for her. "The biggest mistake I made," Grandma Rose had said, "was ignoring the warning signs. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them." Now, sitting in her wedding dress, Maya could hear her grandmother's voice in her head. David had shown her who he really was, and she had been too scared to believe it. Downstairs, she could hear the guests arriving. The church was probably full of people waiting to see her get married. Her parents had spent so much money on this wedding. The flowers, the food, the music, everything was perfect. How could she disappoint everyone? But then Maya remembered something else. Last night, she had called her friend Amy, who lived in another state. Amy had gotten married 2 years ago to a man who seemed wonderful at first, but after the wedding, he became controlling and possessive. Amy had to get a divorce, and she was much happier now. "Maya," Amy had said on the phone, "if you have any doubts at all, please don't go through with it. It's easier to cancel a wedding than to fix a bad marriage." Maya looked at herself in the mirror again. Her dress was beautiful, but her eyes looked sad and scared. Is this how a bride should feel on her wedding day? She thought about her future with David. Would she be happy? Would she be free to be herself? The answer that came to her mind was no. Lisa knocked on the door. "Maya, it's time. Your dad is waiting to walk you down the aisle." Maya's heart started beating even faster. She stood up and walked to the door, but then she stopped. Her hand was on the doorknob, but she couldn't turn it. She thought about walking down that aisle, saying "I do" to David, and then spending the rest of her life being told what to do and who to talk to. "Maya," Lisa called again. "Everyone's waiting." Maya took a deep breath and made the hardest decision of her life. She turned around and walked back into the room. She looked at her wedding dress in the mirror one more time, and then she started taking it off. Her hands were still shaking, but now it was because she was scared of what she was about to do, not because she was trapped. She put on the simple blue dress that Lisa had worn to the rehearsal dinner, which was hanging in the closet. It was a little too big, but it would have to do. Maya wrote a quick note on the hotel stationery. I'm sorry, but I can't do this. I'll explain later. Please tell everyone I'm okay. She grabbed her purse and looked out the bathroom window. It was on the second floor, but there was a fire escape right outside. Maya had always been good at climbing trees when she was little, and this couldn't be much different. She opened the window and climbed out onto the fire escape. Her heart was pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. Step by step, she made her way down to the parking lot. She could hear the wedding music starting to play inside the church, and she knew her father was probably wondering where she was. Maya felt terrible about leaving everyone like this, but she knew it was the right thing to do. She couldn't marry someone who wanted to control her life. She deserved better than that. As she reached the bottom of the fire escape, Maya realized she had nowhere to go. She couldn't go home because that's the first place David would look for her. She couldn't go to her parents' house because they would try to talk her into going back to the church. Most of her friends would probably side with David because he was so popular in town. Then she remembered Alex, her friend from college. They had lost touch over the years, but he had always been kind to her. He lived across town in a quiet neighborhood, and Maya remembered visiting him once years ago. She even remembered where he kept his spare key under the big flower pot by his front door. Maya took one last look at the church where she was supposed to get married, and then she started walking toward the bus stop. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew she had made the right choice. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from something that everyone expects you to want. As the bus pulled up, Maya climbed on and found a seat by the window. She watched her old life disappear behind her as the bus drove away. She was scared, but for the first time in months she also felt free. The sun was starting to set, and Maya didn't know where she would sleep that night. But she knew one thing for sure: she would rather face an uncertain future than a certain unhappy marriage. The bus ride to Alex's neighborhood felt like the longest journey of Maya's life. Every few minutes, she would check her phone and see missed calls from her parents, her sister, and even some of her friends. She turned the phone off because she couldn't handle hearing their voices right now. She knew they were probably worried sick, but she also knew they would try to convince her to go back. By the time Maya reached Alex's street, it was getting dark. The neighborhood was quiet, with neat little houses and well-kept gardens. She remembered this place from college when she had visited Alex a few times. He had always been different from the other guys she knew, quieter, more thoughtful, and he never made her feel uncomfortable or pressured about anything. Maya walked slowly down the street, trying to remember which house was his. Finally, she saw the blue house with the white fence and the big oak tree in the front yard. This was it. Her heart started beating fast again, but this time it wasn't from fear, it was from hope mixed with nervousness. She walked up to the front door and looked for the flower pot. There it was, just like she remembered, sitting next to the door, with some pretty yellow flowers growing in it. Maya lifted the pot and felt around underneath. Her fingers found the small metal key, and she let out a sigh of relief. But as she held the key in her hand, Maya suddenly felt terrible about what she was doing. What if Alex didn't live here anymore? What if he had moved away, gotten married, or changed his life completely? What if he came home and found a stranger in his house? She would look like a crazy person. Maya stood there for almost 10 minutes, holding the key and trying to decide what to do. She was cold, tired, and scared. She had nowhere else to go, and it was getting darker by the minute. Finally, she made up her mind. Alex had always been a good person, and she hoped he would understand her situation. She put the key in the lock and turned it slowly. The door opened with a soft click, and Maya stepped inside. The house was dark and quiet, which meant Alex wasn't home yet. Maya felt around for a light switch and turned on a small lamp in the living room. The house looked almost exactly the same as she remembered it. There were bookshelves everywhere, filled with books about architecture and design. The furniture was simple but comfortable, and everything was very clean and organized. Maya could see that Alex had done well for himself. There were awards on the wall and pictures of buildings that he had probably designed. Maya sat down on the couch and tried to think about what she would say when Alex came home. How do you explain to someone that you ran away from your own wedding and broke into their house? It sounded crazy even to her. She looked at her reflection in the dark TV screen and barely recognized herself. Her hair was messy from climbing down the fire escape. Her makeup was smudged from crying, and she was wearing a dress that was too big for her. She looked like she had been through a storm, which wasn't far from the truth. Hours passed, and Maya found herself getting sleepy. She had been awake since 5 in the morning, getting ready for what was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. The stress and emotions of the day were catching up with her, and her eyes kept closing. Around 10 o'clock, Maya heard a car pull into the driveway. Her heart jumped into her throat. This was it. Alex was home, and she would have to explain everything. But as she heard his footsteps on the front porch, panic took over her mind. What if he called the police? What if he thought she was dangerous? What if he was angry that she had broken into his house? Maya's mind raced with all the terrible things that could happen. In her panic, she did something that later she would think was completely crazy. She ran into Alex's bedroom and hid under his bed. The space under the bed was small and dusty, and Maya had to squeeze herself into a tiny ball to fit. She could hear Alex opening the front door and walking around the house. He turned on more lights and she could see the brightness creeping under the bedroom door. Maya heard Alex moving around the kitchen, probably getting something to eat. Then she heard him talking on the phone to someone, probably about work. His voice sounded exactly the same as she remembered, calm and gentle. She had forgotten how nice his voice was. As the night went on, Maya could hear Alex getting ready for bed. She heard him brushing his teeth, taking a shower, and moving around his bedroom. Her whole body was cramped from lying in such a small space, but she was too scared to come out. What had seemed like a good idea a few hours ago now seemed completely insane. How could she explain hiding under his bed? He would think she had lost her mind. Maya started to cry quietly, feeling more alone and confused than she had ever felt in her life. She must have fallen asleep at some point, because the next thing she knew, sunlight was coming through the bedroom window. Maya's whole body ached from sleeping on the hard floor, and she was incredibly thirsty. She could hear Alex moving around in the kitchen, probably making breakfast before work. Maya tried to stay as quiet as possible, hoping Alex would leave for work and she could sneak out of the house. But then disaster struck. Alex came back into the bedroom to get something, and Maya heard him looking for something on his nightstand. "Where did I put my watch?" she heard him say to himself. Maya's heart stopped beating as she heard him getting down on his hands and knees to look under the bed. This was it. She was about to be discovered, and she had no idea what would happen. Next, suddenly, Alex's face appeared in front of her, looking just as shocked as she felt. For a moment, neither of them said anything. They just stared at each other in complete surprise. "Maya," Alex said softly, his voice full of confusion, but not anger. "What are you doing under my bed?" Maya started crying immediately. All the fear, stress, and exhaustion of the past day came pouring out of her. She tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come out properly. "I'm sorry," she finally managed to say between sobs. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know where else to go." Instead of being angry or calling the police, Alex did something that Maya would never forget. He reached out his hand to help her crawl out from under the bed. "It's okay," he said gently. "Come on, let's get you out of there. You must be so uncomfortable." As Maya crawled out from under the bed, she felt like the biggest fool in the world. Her hair was full of dust, her clothes were wrinkled, and she probably looked terrible. But when she looked at Alex's face, she didn't see judgment or anger. She saw concern and kindness. "Let me get you some water," Alex said, helping her stand up. "And then maybe you can tell me what happened." Maya nodded, still crying but feeling a tiny bit of hope for the first time since yesterday. Maybe, just maybe, everything would be okay. Alex brought Maya a tall glass of water and sat down across from her at his kitchen table. She drank the whole glass without stopping, realizing how thirsty she had been. Her throat felt dry from crying and from spending hours breathing dusty air under his bed. "Take your time," Alex said softly, refilling her glass. "When you're ready, just tell me what happened." Maya looked at Alex's face and saw the same kind eyes she remembered from college. He wasn't rushing her or demanding answers. He was just waiting patiently, giving her space to collect her thoughts. This was so different from how David would have reacted. David would have been asking a million questions and getting frustrated if she didn't answer fast enough. "I was supposed to get married yesterday," Maya began, her voice shaky, "but I couldn't do it. I ran away from my own wedding." Alex's eyes widened with surprise, but he didn't interrupt. He just nodded for her to continue. Maya told him everything. She told him about David's controlling behavior, about how he wanted to cut her off from her family and friends, about how scared she felt when he got angry. She told him about climbing out of the hotel window and taking the bus to his neighborhood. She even told him about hiding under his bed, which made her feel embarrassed all over again. "I know this sounds crazy," Maya said, wiping her eyes with a tissue Alex had given her. "I know you probably think I've lost my mind, but I didn't know where else to go." Alex was quiet for a long moment, thinking about everything she had told him. Then he said something that made Maya feel like a huge weight had been lifted off her shoulders. "You're not crazy, Maya, you're brave. It takes Real courage to walk away from something that everyone expects you to do, especially when you know it's wrong for you. Maya started crying again, but these were different tears. These were tears of relief. For the first time in months, someone was telling her that she had made the right choice. "You can stay here as long as you need to," Alex said. "I have a guest room that you can use. Don't worry about anything right now. Just focus on taking care of yourself." Over the next few days, Alex showed Maya a kindness she had almost forgotten existed. He didn't ask her to explain herself to anyone or pressure her to make any big decisions. He just made sure she had everything she needed: food, clothes, and most importantly, a safe place to think. Maya called her parents and her sister to let them know she was okay. Those conversations were hard. Her mother cried and asked her why she had embarrassed the family. Her father was confused and kept asking if she had just gotten cold feet. Her sister was more understanding, but even she seemed to think Maya should have talked to David instead of running away. "Maybe you two can work things out," her sister said. "He's been calling everyone, looking for you. He says he loves you and wants to fix whatever went wrong." But Maya knew there was nothing to fix. David didn't want to change. He wanted to control her. There's a big difference between those two things. Alex helped Maya understand this difference. He never told her what to do, but he listened when she needed to talk. He helped her see that love shouldn't make you feel scared or trapped. Real love should make you feel free to be your best self. "When I was with David," Maya told Alex one evening as they sat on his back porch, "I felt like I was getting smaller and smaller, like I was disappearing." "And how do you feel now?" Alex asked. Maya thought about it. "Like I'm starting to remember who I am." After a week of staying with Alex, Maya decided she needed professional help to work through her feelings. Alex helped her find a counselor who specialized in helping people who had been in controlling relationships. Maya was surprised to learn that what she had experienced with David was actually quite common. Many people don't realize they're in an unhealthy relationship until they're deep into it, the counselor explained. The controlling behavior usually starts small and builds up over time. By the time you notice it, you're already emotionally invested and it's harder to leave. Maya started going to counseling twice a week, and slowly she began to feel stronger. She also started looking for a new job, since she had been working at David's family's business and obviously couldn't go back there. Alex never made Maya feel like she was a burden or that she was taking advantage of his kindness. He treated her like a friend who was going through a hard time, not like a charity case. He included her in his daily routine. They would have breakfast together before he went to work, and in the evenings they would cook dinner and watch movies or just talk. Maya started to notice things about Alex that she hadn't paid attention to in college. He was incredibly thoughtful and considerate. He always asked if she was comfortable with plans before making them. He respected her privacy and never went through her things or asked to see her phone. He encouraged her to stay in touch with her family and friends, even when those conversations were difficult. One day, Maya realized something that surprised her. She was happy. Despite everything that had happened, despite the uncertainty about her future, she was actually happy. She was living with someone who treated her with respect and kindness. She was getting help for her emotional healing, and she was slowly building a new life for herself. But her peaceful new life was about to be disrupted. 3 weeks after Maya had moved in with Alex, David found out where she was staying. Maya came home from a counseling session to find Alex looking worried and upset. "David was here," Alex said as soon as Maya walked through the door. "He came to my office first, demanding to know where you were. When I wouldn't tell him, he somehow found my address." Maya's heart started racing. "What did he want?" "He wants you to come home. He says you're being dramatic and that you need to stop this nonsense. He also said some things about me that I won't repeat, but they weren't very nice." Maya sat down heavily on the couch. She had known this day would come, but she had hoped it would be later, when she felt stronger and more prepared. "I'm not going back to him," Maya said firmly. "I don't care what he says or what he threatens to do. I'm not going back." Alex sat down next to her. "I know you're not, and I want you to know that I'm here to support you, whatever you decide to do. But Maya, I think we need to talk to a lawyer. David's behavior today made me worried about what he might do next." Maya knew Alex was right. David wasn't going to give up easily, and she needed to protect herself legally. But she also knew that with Alex's help and support, she was strong enough to face whatever came next. For the first time since her wedding day, Maya felt like she was exactly where she belonged. The lawyer Alex found for Maya was a kind woman named Mrs. Johnson who had helped many people in similar situations. She listened carefully to Maya's story and explained what legal steps it could take to protect her from David's harassment. "We can file for a restraining order," Mrs. Johnson explained. "This will legally require David to stay away from you and not contact you. If he breaks this order, he can be arrested." Maya felt nervous about taking such a serious step, but she knew it was necessary. David had been calling her phone non-stop even though she never answered. He had also been driving by Alex's house at different times of the day, which made both Maya and Alex feel unsafe. The process of getting the restraining order took 2 weeks. Maya had to go to court and tell a judge exactly what David had done and why she was afraid of him. It was one of the hardest things she had ever done, but Alex was there with her every step of the way. "You don't have to do this alone," Alex told her the night before the court hearing. "I'll be right there in the courtroom, and if you need a break, just look at me and I'll be there." Having Alex's support made all the difference. When Maya felt scared or overwhelmed during the court hearing, she would look over at him sitting in the back of the courtroom. He would give her a small smile and nod, reminding her that she was strong enough to get through this. The judge granted the restraining order, which meant David had to stay at least 500 feet away from Maya, Alex's house, Maya's workplace, and anywhere else she regularly went. Maya felt like she could finally breathe again. But David wasn't finished. Even though he couldn't contact Maya directly anymore, he started causing problems in other ways. He spread rumors around town about Maya, telling people that she had mental health issues and that she was living with another man inappropriately. He even called Maya's new job and tried to get her fired by telling her boss lies about her character. Maya was hurt and angry about the rumors, but Alex helped her see things differently. "People who really know you won't believe those lies," Alex said, "and the people who do believe them without asking for your side of the story aren't worth worrying about." As the months passed, Maya continued to grow stronger and more confident. She was doing well at her new job as a receptionist at a dental office. The people she worked with were kind and supportive, and they didn't judge her for her situation. She had also made some new friends through a support group for people who had left difficult relationships. But the most surprising change was how Maya felt about Alex. What had started as gratitude for his help had slowly grown into something deeper. She found herself looking forward to their conversations in the evening. She loved the way he laughed at her jokes and how he always listened carefully when she talked about her day. Maya also noticed how Alex looked at her sometimes when he thought she wasn't paying attention. There was something soft and caring in his eyes that made her heart beat a little faster. But Alex never said anything inappropriate or made her feel uncomfortable. He was always respectful and kind, never pushing for more than friendship. One evening, about 6 months after Maya had first hidden under Alex's bed, they were cooking dinner together when Maya accidentally knocked over a glass of water. As she bent down to clean it up, Alex knelt down to help her. Their hands touched as they both reached for the same piece of broken glass, and suddenly they were very close to each other. Maya looked up into Alex's eyes and saw something there that took her breath away. It wasn't just kindness or friendship, it was love. Real, honest, patient love that had been growing quietly for months. "Maya," Alex said softly, "there's something I need to tell you." But before he could say anything else, there was a loud banging on the front door. Both Maya and Alex jumped up, their hearts racing. Through the window, they could see David standing on the front porch, looking angry and determined. "I know you're in there, Maya," David shouted. "We need to talk. This has gone on long enough." Maya felt all the fear she had been learning to control come rushing back. David was violating the restraining order by being there, but that didn't make the situation any less scary. Alex immediately stepped in front of Maya, positioning himself between her and the door. "Stay behind me," he said quietly. "I'm calling the police." As Alex reached for his phone, David started banging on the door even harder. "Maya, I love you. I know you're confused, but we can work this out. That guy has been filling your head with lies about me." Maya felt a strange mix of fear and anger. Fear because David sounded desperate and unpredictable, but anger because of what he was saying. Alex hadn't filled her head with lies. Alex had helped her see the truth about her situation. "I'm not confused, David," Maya called out, surprising both Alex and herself with how strong her voice sounded. "I made my choice 6 months ago, and I'm not changing my mind." "You don't know what you're saying," David shouted back. "That man is taking advantage of you. He's using you." That's when something clicked for Maya. She looked at Alex, who was standing protectively in front of her, ready to defend her even though David was bigger and stronger than him. Alex had never asked her for anything in return for his help. He had never tried to control her or tell her what to do. He had given her space to heal and grow and become herself again. The difference between David and Alex was like the difference between a cage and a safe harbor. David wanted to own her, to control her, to make her into what he wanted her to be. Alex wanted to protect her, to support her, to help her become the best version of herself. The police arrived within minutes and arrested David for violating the restraining order. As they led him away, he kept shouting about how Maya was making a mistake and how she would regret this. After the police car drove away, Maya and Alex stood in the quiet living room, both of them shaking a little from the adrenaline. "Are you okay?" Alex asked, gently touching Maya's shoulder. Maya looked up at him and realized something that surprised her. She wasn't just okay, she was sure. Sure about what she wanted, sure about how she felt, and sure about the man standing in front of her. "Alex," she said, "what were you trying to tell me before David came to the door?" Alex hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath. "I was going to tell you that I love you. I know the timing might not be right, and I know you might not be ready to hear this, but I needed you to know." Maya felt tears in her eyes, but they weren't sad tears. They were tears of joy and relief and love. "I love you too," she whispered. "I think I have for a while now, but I was scared to admit it to myself." When Alex wrapped his arms around her, Maya felt something she had never felt before, complete safety combined with complete freedom. She was exactly where she belonged. 2 years had passed since that frightening night when David showed up at Alex's door. Those 2 years had been filled with healing, growth, and the most genuine happiness Maya had ever experienced. David had been sentenced to community service and anger management classes for violating the restraining order, and he had finally stopped bothering Maya completely. Maya had flourished during this time. She had been promoted at the dental office and was now the office manager. She had reconnected with old friends and made many new ones. Most importantly, she had rebuilt her relationship with her family, who had come to understand and support her decision to leave David. Her relationship with Alex had grown slowly and naturally. Unlike her relationship with David, which had felt rushed and pressured, her love with Alex developed at a comfortable pace. Alex never pushed her to move faster than she was ready for. He let Maya set the boundaries and make the decisions about their relationship. They had been officially dating for about a year and a half when Alex did something that surprised Maya completely. It was a quiet Sunday morning, and they were having breakfast together on Alex's back porch, just like they had done hundreds of times before. "Maya," Alex said, setting down his coffee cup and looking a little nervous. "There's something I want to ask you." Maya looked up from her pancakes and saw that Alex was holding a small velvet box. Her heart started beating faster, but not from fear this time, from excitement. "I know that marriage might be a scary topic for you after everything you've been through," Alex said gently. "But I want you to know that what I'm offering you is nothing like what David offered you. I'm not asking you to give up who you are or to change yourself for me." Alex opened the box to reveal a beautiful but simple ring. It wasn't huge or flashy like the ring David had given her. It was elegant and classic, just like Alex himself. "I'm asking you to marry me because I want to build a life with you where we both can be our best selves. I want to be your partner, not your owner. I want to support your dreams, not control them." Maya felt tears of joy streaming down her face. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, I want to marry you." When Alex slipped the ring onto her finger, Maya felt something she had never felt before, complete peace about her future. She knew without any doubt that she was making the right choice this time. Planning their wedding was completely different. From planning her wedding with David, Alex included Maya in every decision and always asked for her opinion. When Maya wanted to invite her support group friends, Alex thought it was a wonderful idea. When Maya wanted to write her own vows, Alex encouraged her creativity. When Maya said she wanted a small, simple ceremony, Alex agreed immediately. "This is your day too," Maya said to Alex one day while they were addressing wedding invitations. "Don't you want anything special?" Alex smiled and took her hand. "Maya, the only thing I want is to marry you. Everything else is just decoration." The wedding day arrived on a beautiful spring morning. Maya got ready at her sister's house, surrounded by her family and closest friends. As she looked at herself in the mirror wearing a simple white dress that she had chosen herself, Maya thought about how different she felt compared to 2 years ago. 2 years ago she had been terrified and uncertain. Today she felt calm and confident. She knew exactly what she was doing and why she was doing it. When it came time for the ceremony, Maya walked down the aisle without any hesitation. Alex was waiting for her at the altar, and the smile on his face was so full of love and joy that Maya almost started crying right there. But it was during the vows that Maya said something that surprised everyone, including herself. "Alex," Maya said, looking directly into his eyes. People might think it's strange for me to say this, but you own me completely. There were some surprised murmurs from the guests, but Maya continued. You don't own my freedom or my choices, or my dreams. You own something much more precious than that. You own my heart, my trust, and my future. You earned these things not by demanding them or controlling me, but by showing me every single day that you were worthy of them. Maya's voice grew stronger as she continued. You saved me from a life that would have slowly destroyed who I really am. You gave me a safe place to heal and grow. You showed me what real love looks like, and now I choose to give you everything I am, not because I have to, but because I want to. There wasn't a dry eye in the small church. Even Alex was crying as he listened to Maya's words. When it was Alex's turn to speak, he said simply, Maya, I promise to treasure everything you've given me. I promise to protect your heart without caging your spirit. I promise to love you exactly as you are while supporting who you're still becoming. After they were pronounced husband and wife, Maya and Alex had their reception in Alex's backyard, the same place where Maya had first realized she was falling in love with him. It was simple and perfect, filled with laughter, good food, and people who truly cared about them. During the reception, Maya's counselor, Mrs. Patterson, came up to her. I'm so proud of you, Maya, she said. You've come so far from that scared young woman who first came to my office. I couldn't have done it without good people helping me, Maya replied, looking over at Alex, who was talking and laughing with her father. That's true, Mrs. Patterson said, but you did the hard work of healing, and you made the brave choice to trust again. Now, 3 years after their wedding, Maya and Alex have built a beautiful life together. They bought a house together where Maya has a big garden and Alex has a home office for his architecture work. Maya has started volunteering at a local organization that helps women leave difficult relationships, sharing her story to give other women hope. When Maya tells her story to the women she helps, she always talks about the difference between being owned by someone who wants to control you and being owned by someone who wants to cherish you. When David said he loved me, Maya explains, what he really meant was that he wanted to possess me. When Alex says he loves me, he means that he wants to treasure me. The difference between those two things changed my entire life. Maya often thinks about that scared young woman who climbed out of a hotel window 2 years ago. That woman was brave enough to run away from what was wrong, even when she didn't know what was right. And because of that bravery, she found something more beautiful than she had ever imagined possible. Sometimes the best thing you can do is run away from what everyone expects you to want, because only then can you discover what you actually need. For Maya, what she needed was a love that made her feel free, not trapped. A love that helped her grow, not shrink. A love that she chose freely, not one that was forced upon her. And that's exactly what she found.